Okay, hello everybody. So I want to go over these solutions for the solving worksheet that you had. All right, so big thing is you're always finding x values. So whatever answer you're going to tell me, it's going to be the x value. For number one, it says f of x squared is 4. Well, y is f of x. So if f of x is being squared, then that means you can think of it as y squared equals 4. Now, this function has many ordered pairs. Some of those ordered pairs, the y value squares to 4. Now, we know that if y squares to 4, y could be 2 or -2. And that's what guides this problem. Y is positive 2 here and here. Y is -2 here. So there are 3 distinct solutions: +1, +3, and +5. Those are the 3 x values that produce y values that square to 4. Number 2, following suit. The distance that y is from 0 is 1. Well, that means y could have a value of 1 because 1 is 1 away from 0. Or y could have a value of -1 because -1 is also 1 away from 0. So when you're looking at this, you need to think, what are the x values that produce y values that are either 1 or -1? And -2 and 2 produce y values that are 1. -6 and 6 produce y values that are -1. But all those y values are 1 away from 0. Number 3, again, this is really just 3 times y plus 2 equals 5. That's only true if y equals 1. So looking at this function, does y ever equal 1? Oh yeah. Here, 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 here. So the answer is x equals all the x values that produce those y values. -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 4. Now it gets a little bit more complicated. Now I want all the y values that are, I want to find the x values. I'm solving for x. I want to find the x values that produce y values that are greater than or equal to -1. That's a mouthful, but it's worth repeating. I want to find x values that produce y values that are greater than or equal to -1. And looking at my function, remember, I've got a bunch of x's and a bunch of y's. Which x values will produce y values greater than or equal to -1? Well, here is when y equals -1. And y equals -1 when x is -4. It's equal to -1 or greater than -1 in this interval and also in this interval. So my solution is -4. All of these x values, so everything between -2 and -1, and then all of these x values between 0 and 2. Number 5. What y value is 3 away from 0? Well, there are 2 numbers that are 3 away from 0, 3 and -3. And in this graph, I can only see, I've only got one solution. When x is -4, that produces a y value of -3, which happens to be 3 away from 0. So there's only one single solution for number 5. Number 6, I've seen this before. This was just like number 1, wasn't it? Just like number 1. So this is the same thing as y squared equals 4. So I'm looking for y equaling 2 or -2. Y equals 2 there, and y equals 2 all there. So what are the x values that produce those y values? One of them is -4, and the other is the interval from 2 to 3, not including 3, because there's an open circle there. So y squared equals 1, y equals 1, or negative 1. Here's when y equals 1. Here's when y equals negative 1. And it looks like I've got two distinct answers. When x equals 2, the y value is 1. When x equals 1, the y value is negative 1. So I've got two answers, negative 1 and 1. What are all the x values that produce y values that are less than 3? Well, here is when y equals 3. This, when x equals negative 4, the result is something less than 3. When x equals 1, the result is something that's less than 3. And then all of these values. So my answer is negative 4, positive 1, and then this interval right here. It does not include positive 4. Because when x does equal 4, I get exactly 3. But I want to be just less than 3, not less than or equal to. Now 5 is included because when x is 5, the y value is 2. And so therefore 5 is good. 5 is a solution because 5 produces the number 2, and 2 is definitely less than 3. Remember, 4 was not a solution because when x is 4, it produces exactly 3, and 3 is not less than 3. So that's why 4 is excluded, but 5 is included. This one's my favorite one. For what x values produce y values that are greater than negative 1.5, so above that line, but at the same time less than 1.7, and there's only one. There's only one ordered pair that works. That's this one. So that's one x value, x equals 2. 10 and 11 are the most challenging ones. So again, f represents the y value, and this is the dashed. So on this parabola, there are lots of ordered pairs, lots of x's, lots of y's, but all I care about are what are the y values of f that are greater than the y values of g. And I hope it's obvious, but all of these y values, all the y values, those y values are on f, and they are greater than the corresponding y values that are on g. So now the solution is, what x value produces these y values? Boy, that's hard to read. So this, everything greater than that x value, so greater than negative 0.562, all the way to that x value. Last. Again, the dashed is f, and I want to know what x values produce the y values in f that are less than or equal to the corresponding y values in g. So let's just take an example. Let's say x equals 2. When x equals 2, g is up here, so g produces the number 0. F produces the number, I don't know, negative 4.5 or something. So in this particular case, when x equals 2, f is less than g. And I want to, and that's a solution, because I want to know all the x values where f is less than g. And 2 is one possible answer, because when x is 2, f produces a number, a y value that's less than what g produced. But 2 isn't the only answer. All of these ordered pairs, I want to know all the x values in that green section, because all the x values in that green section produce y values that make the f less than g. But there's also this section as well, because these y values over here are less than the y values that are on g. So for instance, this ordered pair, when x equals -7, f is way down here, g is up here, and f is less than g. So I got two green spots. There are two intervals. Starting from the left, always from the left. It begins from -infinity all the way to -6. Now is -6 included? Oh yeah, because when x equals -6, they equal each other, and being equal is okay. Union that with this next section, starting when x equals -2, all the way until x equals 2.731. I hope that helps.